Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And first of all, I want to apologise. Because yesterday I said we were going to change the pumpkin basket into a Christmas one, and then I started playing with the gingerbread girl, and I thought I'm going to do the basket on Friday because I just looked at this and it was just so cute I couldn't resist. So we're doing the gingerbread girl today, and she is fabulous. So I have been and cut out and prepped a little bit, and I'll show you what we're doing. So I will be up tomorrow, and we will do that pumpkin basket as the Christmas basket then. But as I said, I do apologise. Well, anyway, I hope everyone's going to have a wonderful day. Right, I have cut 2 gingerbreadies. This is my back one, and you can see I've scored it straight across at what I consider to be the waistline. So that's what I've done there. On this one in preparation, I've used a peachy keen face stamp and just used pencils to colour it in. I use Prisma pencils, and you know, you just go round and round very gently, and you can colour the face in really easy. Now I am going to grab my chalks in a second because I want some nice rosy cheeks on there, but I just want to show you the elements that I've already made. Right, the little apron, I've added some lace at the bottom, and the little peppermint candy that comes with it I'm using as buttons on the bottom of the apron straps. You also get a little bit of wavy piece of frosting, and I've glued that on. And this paper is from Simple Stories, and it's the apron strings pack. So if I flip it over, you can see how I've done it. I cut it in white cardstock. I used a piece of double-sided adhesive tape and just pleat your ribbon over to that. These little pieces will be loose, so then you go back in, you just drop your little dots of glue and you fold those bits over, and you end up with pleats. So that's her little pinny. Now I looked at it and not wishing to be rude, but I didn't want my little gingerbread to look like, you know, she was a waitress at Hooters. She looked a bit naked, so I made her a t-shirt. And from the same apron strings pack again, I found the element. The secret ingredient is always love. And what I did was I went back and I cut the apron in white cardstock, and you'll find that this bit will drop out. So that bit will fall out from there. So that's what I printed on. I will tuck that under my candy. So that's going to go into there. And then we have a collar, and I've cut 2 because I want it to stick up a bit. And so then I took this piece, put it back in my die cut machine with the collar die, which cut out that little piece there. But I've also got a red one that I'm going to stick onto the white one because I just want it to look, you know, a bit more elevated. So she's looking more respectable, bless her. Yeah. So that's going to go there. And then the chef's hat I did just in plain white, and I think I'm going to have that onto the right of her head. So that can just go like that. And then I've got the little whisk, which I put a red handle on. And to make this 3-dimensional, just bend down those 2 edges gently, put your thumbs in and pull that up. And then you've got more of a kind of 3D looking whisk. And that's going to go into one of her little hands. I did the rolling pin in some yellowy kind of wood grain paper because I didn't want to use too much dark wood. So she's got her little rolling pin that will go in the other hand, and then she's got her frosting pieces, and these are the largest ones to the feet and the smallest ones on the hands. And she also gets a little swirly bit that goes on her head. Now you can have your swirly bit in whatever direction you want. I kind of like the idea of her being just under her hat and a little bit swirly between the eyebrows or something like that, something that looks really cute. Now, I'm not using the tray today, but I wanted to talk about the tray because, of course, the tray is an awesome embellishment. And I used a piece of the apron strings paper again, and I just cut a kind of, you know, little, what would you call it? A tray cover. Let's call it a tray cover. I was going to call it a dish mop. Oh, dearie me. I need coffee. And I've got it going over the edge. Now, the reason I got it going over the edge is because I want to explain something to you. This is scored at the waistline so that my cards can stand up, yeah? Now, if you imagine you've got a strip of cardstock the same length as your tray, going all the way along the length of your tray. Let's say it's 1/2 inch, and then you score it down the middle and it's 1/4 of an inch. Then you can glue your first 1/4 inch here, and then you glue the next 1/4 inch onto the body on your score line. So you can make yourself an easel cards with a tray that will lift up and down. And to make the stands that would hold your tray is just an L-shaped piece of cardstock. So you would double it up. I mean, the whole thing would lay flat and tuck inside the flap, and you've got a lift up tray that would be held in place, and you could put a little sentiment or a chocolate or a candy or anything on the tray if you wanted to have it as something that stood on your table. Do you know what I mean? At Christmas, so you could have a little Ferrero Rocher chocolate on your little tray. So if I got enough time at the end, I'll show you how to do that, because I'm pretty sure what I just said was all very confusing. So anyway, you can see all of my bits there. And what I want to do first is put some blush on her cheeks. So I'm just going to pause for a second while I grab my chalk palette. Right, I've decided I'm going with my lit up palette today, and these are Jane Davenport. You can find these on the Jane Davenport website, and I'm going to go for this one, so I'm going to be brave. It's actually a lot darker than it looks on my camera. So I'm just grabbing an applicator tool, and I'm pretty sure I've used that colour before, and I don't wash these, I just keep using them. I just keep using them. You can brush them out on kitchen paper to kind of like remove your last colour. I mean, there will be stains, but it'll be fairly removed. Right, so it's this one. So if you've got this palette, you can see which one it is. So I'm only tapping a little bit on. I mean, these palettes will quite literally last you for life. So I'm just working in that stamped area there of my Peachy Keen stamp. And it doesn't matter if you go over the stamp lines, really it doesn't. So I'm just working in that area at the moment. If I want to go wider, I will, because sometimes I quite like the idea, here I'll do it, of it being lightly blushed up and also into the cheek, and I'll show you that. See, how cute is that? Right, let's do this one. So we blend that, and then we'll blush it up there as well. Just gives a nice little bit of you know, interest to your character's face. And I do love my Peachy Keen faces. You can also get the digitals if you're doing anything extremely large, because you know me, I sort of like once a month I'll spend 20 bucks on AliExpress. That's the way my budget works. But yesterday, or was it the day before, I treated myself to the extra large snowman, and I have linked all those below in my daily hot picks, and they are huge Santa Claus character dies, you know, like this, but big ones, so they'll go in the center of a wreath or make a really nice Christmas ornament. Right, I think I'm going to stick with that. I think that's a wonderfully cheeky expression. Right, I'm just going to pause while I move this out of the way again. Okay, that's all tidied up. So the next thing I want to do is I want to stick down her little apron. So I've got my glue, and the flower is still there. I must admit that I am gentle with it when I pull it out of the bottle, but I have not lost my needle. So I'm going glue here, And I don't need to do the bottom of her skirts. There we go. And now you just need to line that up. Just kind of get it where you think it's even. And slide it up a bit. I think that's it. I'm just holding it towards myself. Yeah, that's right. I want the skirt to be kind of floating upwards because she's got all her little ribbons, look, and you can lift that. Right, so there she's got that. And now we're going to put her little kind of t-shirty blouse section in. I hope you're all going to have a wonderful day. I'm always saying that because I genuinely do. And I can tell you, I'm going to be sowing carrots and parsnips today. That's what I'm going to be doing. Planting seeds in my full garden. So I just want to push that into there. And now I need to glue these two pieces together. Just making sure I haven't glued anything onto my mat there. Push that across and down. And I'm just going to put two blobs and then try and line it up. It's so quick and easy to do this, really. I mean, it'll take you about 5 minutes to put the lace onto the apron, but I just think it's a nice little detail. And then we're going to pop some glue onto here, and we'll slot the collar into that there. Now I might need to pull this down a bit just so that I can see it. There we are. So now she's got her nice little collar on her little blouse underneath. And then we need to fit the whiskey, and we need to fit the rolling pin and hat. But first of all, I'm just going to flip it over. Now to do this you need to glue down to this line only. So first of all I'm going to fold that just to make sure that I've got my folds correct. And we're going to get glue all the way around there. I'm just going to cap this off. You can see how quickly that's drying even on camera. So now we're going to line this up. I'm just going to look at that. I'm going to flip it over, make sure it's square. And then rub it along that line. I had to look over at my camera. I thought I'd forgot to switch on record again. So that's done. And now we should have a nice tilting card. There we go. She stands up beautifully. Now if you're going to put the tray on, you would score both pieces. So you'd score the front so that it was a complete open out tent fold, do you know what I mean? So that the other legs are like that, and then you could have it as your lovely table decoration holding a chocolate. And of course for the t-shirt section you could always put the person's name, so that does fold flat. Now the next thing I need to do is the implements and the hat, and then I'm going to put the gingerbready pieces on. Now if you wanted to go total 3D with this, you could cut 2 whisks and do what I've done on both sides, and then you've got a complete balloon whisk, if you know what I mean. Now I'm going to glue this down. I'm just going to go in the center. I'm going to go like that. Yeah, off at a different angle. So there she's got her little rolling pin and her whisk. Do you know what I've just realised? I didn't glue my frosting down. That's okay, I can put it just down on the head. The heads and the feet. That's what happens when you get all excited about something that you're working with. And I think she's so cute. Right, so I kind of want her to have a little kiss curl between the eyebrows. Yeah, like that. And then I'm going to pop the hat on. So just remember that before you put your tools down to put your frosting down, oh, isn't she lovely? Oh, I just love that. Right, she's got her. Now I like to, when I'm putting my frosting down, it doesn't matter which way you put it, but I like to always look at M, because to me, if I push this up a bit, it just gives, to me personally, a nicer sort of like accentuation to the end details. I don't know whether that's an OCD trait. Look, I'll put it that way around so that you can see. I just prefer that. So I work on M, and that's what I'm going to do as soon as I can pick it up. And then I'll run away and I'll cut paper and show you how to make that little attachment for the tray. I'm just putting tiny blobs of glue in here. I'm going to go about there. Clean that little bit up. Like as I said, you know, this should have gone here, but it's not going to fit now, so I'm just not going to worry about that. Now if you wanted to add something extra, you could put another little peppermint, you know, onto the hat, or even several. Why not? But as soon as I can push this pin back in my bottle, that is what I've got for you today. Isn't that lovely? Oh, just gorgeous. And she stands up. I'm going to pull the back out just to prove it. There you go. She stands up wonderfully. I absolutely love that. Right, now I'm going to go cut that bit and show you how you can make a 3D tray if you're using this as a place marker for your table setting. I'll be right back. Right, so I've been away and I've chopped up and I've scored, and here's our little tray. And all you need to do is, it doesn't really matter the width of your paper, it's the length of your paper. You really do want it to kind of like fit within. So if you can see, I've cut mine just shy of the curves there, and then you score it in half so that you've got this little C channel. And then you need another piece which should be the same width as you can see there, but you're scoring it so that you're making a little leggy shape there. Now let me just show you how this glues. We're going to use this scrap of cardstock. We're going to pretend that's our gingerbread. I'm just taking the cap off my glue again. Oh, has that happened to anyone else? Look at that, the pin has just come off my glue bottle. Now I need to go and find something to pull it out. Hang on just 1 second. Right, I've just managed to pull that out, but I'm going to have to find something to fix it back in now. Right, so we're going to put some glue along one edge, and we're going to stick that to our tray. Now whenever you do something like this, you want your tray just before it, because what you've got to remember is you need space to be excuse my throat, to be able to fold it down. and for it to open up. So I'm just popping that down there. Right, so once you've done that, pretend that this is your gingerbread, and we're going to glue that bit down onto here. Hopefully that's straight. I will lift it up towards myself. It probably isn't straight, but it's right, we've got a lot of dusty pollen. I cut the lawn and stirred everything up into the air. Right, that needs to dry, and then once it is dry, and I'm hoping that it is, you can flap that down like that. Now this piece, you want your shortest leg to your gingerbread or your card, and your longest leg here. So croaky. You want it glued pretty well, you don't want it to come off. And then try and find where the center of your tray is, which won't be this bit, it will be this bit that needs to be in the center. Now I'm going to look, I've just balanced it back on the blue thing, and I'm hoping it's going to work to go back in. I'm going very quiet. Yes. Right. It just drops off again. Oh dearie me. Hang on, I'm just going to pause because I have to get it out. Yes, I'm going to have to go on a hunt for stainless steel pins, I think, that have just got a solid, you know, flat head or something. Right, I'm pretty sure that those are dry. Now what would happen is this. Everything can go down flat. So even if you're sending it as a card, and imagine that that is on your gingerbread, it would be down flat. And then when the recipient got it, they would pop it up like this, and then they would lift up the leg. So once you've got the little leg lifted, can you see that? So you've got your little, but your tray is straight up like that. It's resting, you know, like those old-fashioned tables that used to have the pull-out leg. I think we used to call them gate leg tables, but you just want that piece to be in the center. There we go, nice and close. You want that in the center. It can then fold flat, but when you pull it forward, it will hold your little tray up. Isn't that sweet? I like that. And I do apologise if my camera is blurred, but there's all kinds of, you know, 3D type cards that you can do with stuff like that. But you know, imagine that white piece isn't there and it's on there, and she's got a little Ferrero chocolate or a little mini cookie. You can make tiny little bite-sized cookie and put it on there. That would look really cute. Well, anyway, apart from my glue bottle faux pas, which I am now going to go and sort out, thank you so much for joining me, and have an awesome day. As usual, all links below. Bye.